And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of Culturally Conscious Communications here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, livinginblack.com. It's Friday. We call it Making Money Fridays around here, and we focus on those issues relative to our individual and, better yet, our collective wealth and prosperity. Today's date is Friday, the 29th of November, 2024 in the Western calendar. This corresponds to the year 6265 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we realign our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, here on livinginblack.com. Now, let's get this party started. Let me first of all get my screen up so you can see my beautiful smiling face, full of holiday joy and spirit, but I am not at all into the holiday consumer shopping madness. No way, Jose. Today is that day they've been talking about for months. Black Friday. I'll be honest with you, man. Every Friday for me is Black Friday. When I wake up, I look in the mirror and I look at that brother looking back at me. I say, man, it's going to be Black Friday today. So today is your and my Black Friday. If you look in the mirror and see a black man or a black woman staring back at you, if you see someone of another ethnicity staring back at you, don't be ashamed. Be yourself. Be who you are. And feel free to express yourself just as you would express yourself. Today on LIB Radio's Making Money Friday, our focus is on 2024 holiday shopping spending forecasts. So we're looking over the horizon. Every year I do this broad set of forecast predictions before, during, and after. And these forecasts and the way we're going to be laying this out today, it's a wonderful time if you are a wealthy billionaire shareholder or sole proprietary of a corporation. If you're a majority shareholder, sit on the boards of directors, have lots of stock in these big retailers, you're having a wonderful time. Now, the SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, they're struggling, just like the family is struggling. And struggle is not a bad thing. But struggle when in an arena where the base for competition is biased and unfair, manipulated, dominated, and where the competitors, this is game theory, and where the competitors have been unduly burdened to make their ability to compete in this competition, their ability to compete is far, far diminished, then that's not good. Today on LIB Radio, we have already entered the realm of concentrated holiday shopping consumer madness. Consumer madness. As inflation continues to ravage household budgets and numerous fears of recessionary crises hover over the nation, all of this is going on in the background, y'all. Tens of millions of shoppers have hit the streets and the internet for the Black Friday to Cyber Monday shopping frenzy. And there's even an acronym for that now. As I was looking through the different reports, they've given this weekend an acronym, BFCM. And it might be a bridge in there, BFCM, Black Friday Cyber Monday. Tens of millions of shoppers have hit the streets and the internet for the Black Friday to Cyber Monday shopping frenzy. Beyond the stress of succumbing to this consumer hype, what long-term consequences of this annual holiday shopping mania are people just not thinking about? That is why you and I are gathered together today, because we do think about the long-term consequences. And we've done the best we can here in the last few days and recent weeks over the course of our 23 years. It'll be 23 years completed on January 3rd. We've done a lot to bring into focus the long-term, over-the-horizon thinking. What is the long-term consequences or outcome of the actions that I engage in today, this week? This is a function of the mind called the prefrontal cortex, the highest reasoning part of the mind, where executive decision making takes place. So as we move into this Black Friday to Cyber Monday weekend, let's do our best to put this into perspective. First of all, let me greet you, our listening audience, for tuning in today. On the You Now page, we do see Happy Eagle in the house with a beautiful name. Saud 34 is in the house. I see you. And we also have on our Rumble page Basuranda Ankh Uja or Ankh Uja Seneb. For Africa One, reporting in from United Kemet, UK. Hotep, Brother Kiti and the Global Family. Respect, Sister Sis Basu Randa, long time no see. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen your smiling signature in her family. And what a joy it is. What a joy it is to be with you, my global family, our global family. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to go ahead right into this research. We have a lot of research on today. We say greetings to all of our listening families. If you're on younow.com, where we are LIB Radio, if you're on rumble.com, where we are LIB Radio, as well as my name, Kiti Awadu. If you are on YouTube, I am broadcasting today's show because it's not going into medical science. I'm broadcasting on YouTube. They do not like it, and they banned me on my other channel, which I had up for over 16 years on YouTube. Over 2,000 videos were taken down. I have those videos in archives in my own storage, but still, there's a huge body of work. And now, the mainstream is starting to admit the science of what got me banned. What's up with that? I don't have time to think about that right now. If you are with our TuneIn app, we say greetings. And if you are listening on Facebook Live video, Aquaba, you have found your family in a peaceful place. Here we go. Let's get into this research. 2024 holiday shopping spending forecasts. I started out today working just on forecasts and demographics. These are very serious updates, and I promise you it will take me through to February to finish all of the data, projections, and forecasts that I started on today. But what we did find today, I think you're going to find to be compelling. First of all, let's go into these predictions. There were a number of predictions of a record high Black Friday and Cyber Monday spending. The first article is, that's almost the exact title. Deloitte predicts record high Black Friday and Cyber Monday spending, even as consumers plan to spend more. Getting more bang for their buck appears to be their top shopping strategy. Deloitte says. This article written by Jason Bramwell, CPA. It's published in the online journal CPA Practice Advisor, dated November 26, 2024. Let me see if I can, we can share this link so those of you following along can have a chance. I'm just going to share just the link because this link is very, very long. They put like the whole title in the HTTP, which probably somebody put it up on, uh, probably someone put it up on Rumble, which puts a real long, can put a real long URL on things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this up, and if you can't find it, you let me know, because it may not all fit on here. I think it did all fit there. And post it up over here on my YouTube. And let's go into this conversation today. One more place, I have to post it on my Facebook as well, so everyone could get access to this research and do this research for yourself. Get in the habit of doing these type of long-term economic and demographic projections. It's very empowering. Here is what the article has to say. In part, consumers are expecting to spend a record average of $650 during the Black Friday through Cyber Monday BFCM shopping period from Thursday, November 28 to Monday, December 2, up 15% from last year, according to a new survey from Deloitte. Now, again, this is just a survey, and many times people, when they're being surveyed, are kind of optimistic, maybe a little overly optimistic, but it could go above or beyond what they predicted. $650 per person from today through Monday night, up 15% from last year. Wow. The Big Four accounting firm, Deloitte, polled 1,200 consumers between October 16 and October 24 for its 2024 Black Friday through Cyber Monday survey, which examines what retailers can expect from shoppers between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday. This year, even as consumers plan to spend more, getting more bang for their buck appears to be their top shopping strategy. Next article, and I have the source articles for these in case anybody needs to know what's on them. And before I go to this next article, because it's a little bit more lengthy, what I did do, I did queue up this piece of video, which is a news report talking about the very same thing. Christmas consumerism and spending is out of control. 15% year on year expected spending rise. Either our perceptions of our financial capacity are out of control, or our drive for consumption is out of control. For Africa One did confirm, yes, the link works. Thank you for doing that. I wish I could give you a big hug right now. Let you know, my beloved sister, how much you are appreciated. If nobody else in your world except for myself and Basuranda tells you how much you are appreciated, be assured you contribute your contributions to what we collectively build together are meritorious. Ashe y'all. Sawubona, that's the word. I see you, beloved. So here is this short piece of video. It's just about a minute and a half, about 91 seconds long. And I'm going to go right into this video, and you tell me what you are hearing. Does this sound familiar?
It starts with Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, when stores in the United States advertise gigantic discounts, and it doesn't end till well after the New Year. Rampant consumerism has become a hallmark of the end of each year, when everything one can want or not want is up for sale. Businesses lavish gifts upon each other to impress potential partners, while retail giants laugh all the way to the bank. A big boost for everyone, for sure. But what about weeks later when the first credit card bills arrive?
I did come last night. I mean, I got some deals last night, but at the same time, there's always still good deals left. You just kind of have to go through. I mean, it's kind of hard to like sit in line and wait until to get the best deals out there. But sometimes there's some good diamonds out there still left in the rubble.
Europe isn't lagging far behind either. The British will splurge around £77.5 billion sterling in the UK this year, making them the continent's biggest spenders. In the olden days, a fir pine and a star were all it took. Today, there is no limit to the sheer variety of exotica available to hang on your tree. And if a home-baked Christmas pudding was a welcome gift at a party in earlier years, nothing less than an exotic and expensive delicacy from halfway around the world will do today. Bureau Report, Beyond.
All right. That report from the UK on the United States holiday shopping mania. I appreciate that. I think it's a pretty significant report. And we're going to do the best we can to do the best we can of reporting to our listening audience here on LNB Radio what is going on. Let's continue. The next article that I pulled up, and here, let me just copy that particular link. Let's see. Oh, this is us here. And I do see Ronan checking in. Ronan checks in, says, Kitty, I'm tired of Xmas. Xmas, Ronan writes, is families putting way too much pressure on families who themselves please kids, who themselves please kids. That's right. What holiday is not a government hustle? Parents getting tired of this. I say 7 years, no Xmas. I'm with you, Ronan. I don't do it. We grew up and we raised, myself and my ex-wife, raised 3 daughters. And of course, for the first year or so of their life, they're too young to be aware of what's going on. It's only the relatives that were, pushing it into the household. And then there came a point where we indulged in it. But and you know me, Brother Ronan, you know my mindset. I only bought gifts for the girls that were investments in their long-term development. So I would focus on musical instruments, books. My daughters grew up loving books. Books, for them, books was Christmas Day. And so I would buy them books for Christmas, but then during the year, every week or two or month or two, I put a bookshelf in their bedroom. The 2 oldest daughters were 18 months apart, so they were what they call Polish twins. Now, I think what are called Polish twins are closer than 18 months, but 18 months was pretty good. They grew up just almost like twins. And then there was a 3-year gap until the 3rd daughter came, but they loved books. They loved reading. Of course, seasonal things like clothes would be wonderfully helpful. And of course, bright colored things that go bling and blang and ching and chang. Toys would be nice. I like to focus on things like computers. They would get like children's computers and these type of things. Things that looking over the horizon were skilling them up for the future. That was my focus. Whereas, their mother was more sentimental and practical. So I know she would focus on things like clothes and other things that would be needed throughout the year. But we pretty much bypassed that whole holiday shopping madness. I didn't do the Christmas tree things. My ex-wife's mother would do that, and so they would focus on the holiday sentimental stuff at the my mother-in-law's home. So it all worked out really, really well. And I think it's carrying over into subsequent generations. And like yourself, Brother Ronan, many people are deliberately detaching from the holiday shopping madness. And I think that that previous video excerpt that we showed, the video was again entitled, where is it? It's still here on my desktop. The video was entitled Christmas Consumerism and Spending is Out of Control. I think that was a good reflection of many of our sentiments that we're coming to. But nonetheless, others say different. As that video finished, you know, a bunch of other videos on YouTube come up, queued up, ready. And the very next one queued up, ready, is called Black Friday 2024 Deals, the top 50. And the guy presenting that, he is a happy looking camper. He's pretty good at what he does. And I have recommended him for in the other broadcasts talking about let's save money. But for myself, the last thing I want to do as an outcome of today's program is to convince anyone listening to me to go out there and hit the stores. I am from Thursday morning, that was Thanksgiving morning, and I had two beautiful, beautiful friends, long-term friends, come by my home, and I didn't prepare a dinner. Many times I will for Gratitude Day, which is what I call it. For Gratitude Day, we'll prepare a feast and invite people over. But this time, I knew these two friends, long-term friends, one of whom is one of my Jagnas, Babas, came over, and we just sampled living superfood, and it was such a pleasure. So Baba John Brown and to his beautiful wife, thank you for blessing me with your day, Thanksgiving Day. They did leave here to go. She wanted to eat some traditional Thanksgiving food. Baba John is like myself. He's going into the vegan category, and he's having tremendous success transforming his body. So, enough said about that. Let's go back into the research today. Here's what I pulled together. Again, we just cited that article from Deloitte predicts record high Black Friday and Cyber Monday spending, even as consumers plan to spend more. Getting more bang for the buck appears to be their top shopping strategy. The next article I have pulled up is entitled Black Friday Weekend to Break Sales Records, as cash-strapped customers wait for deals and discounts. This article written by Taylor Herzlich from the New York Post, November 27, 2024. Let me share this link with those of you who want to follow along, who want to research along. This is a very important article. I'm going to read that title again because the title had several very relevant and powerful things in it to say that I hope we did not overlook. I see you in the house. Okay, yeah, that's Basu Randa acknowledging, being acknowledged by 4 Africa 1, and that's a beautiful thing. Here's what I have to do. I have to put this link up in 2 pieces for the Rumble family, and put it up also for I have to put it up in 2 pieces on YouTube. Come on, come on, come on. Act right now. It's not going to act right. It'll act right if I force it to act right. Okay. And let me post up that link so you can have access to it. I gave you the title. Now I'll put the link up separately so it'll all fit on those 2 places. Rumble, there you are. And on my YouTube, this YouTube, there you are as well. So, and I do acknowledge, Brother Ronan says, parents getting tired of this, okay, 7 years. Ever seen Futurama, Santa Claus? You'll laugh and not want to laugh. Watch it. Futurama, Santa Claus. I'll check that out. Maybe I can find Futurama, Santa Claus in the background. Push that up into another link. and find a video of Futurama Santa Claus. I see it there, and I'll cue that up here. Give me just a second. I'll cue that up and go back to, what was I doing? Oh, go back to reading what I was about to read. I think that's where I was. Black Friday weekend to pass sales records as cash-strapped consumers wait for deals and discounts, by Taylor Herzlich, New York Post. The weekend that stretches from Black Friday to Cyber Monday is expected to break records this year, as inflation-battered shoppers waiting for deals take advantage of sales online and in stores. Inflation-battled shoppers rushing to get right back in the frenzy. Now, figure that out. What's the logic there? It must have to do something with Futurama Santa Claus. U.S. retail sales are expected to reach a record-breaking $75 billion in the period from Black Friday to Cyber Monday, according to Bain's Black Friday forecast. That estimate represents 5% of retail sales growth from the same period in 2023. Now, this article says that represents a 5% retail sales growth, while the Deloitte forecast predicted a 15%. Remember when I said that Deloitte forecast, especially since it was back in October, may not reflect the reality that people will hit when this day appears. U.S. retail sales are expected to break record $75 billion during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. The busy Thanksgiving weekend will likely account for 8% of total holiday sales, its highest share since 2019, according to Bain. Now, here's where I start to break these things down. First of all, we looked at population, and these numbers are brand new numbers, even though some of these numbers aren't so brand new. Total U.S. population as of today, November 29, 2024, 346,193,130. And by the time I was finishing doing these surveys and stuff, I think 41 more babies had been born in a 20-minute or 30-minute period. U.S. black population at 14% of that total would represent 48,467,038 people. Now, I spent a little bit of time on trying to decipher the true numbers for black population. I can guarantee you the U.S. Census Department undercounts black people in the United States multiple ways, by separating blacks in the United States, blacks domiciled in the U.S., by separating us from Afro-Latinos, which are black people that speak Spanish or have a Spanish surname. They may speak English but have a Spanish surname. Their ancestors may come from Puerto Rico, from Cuba, from Dominican Republic, Colombia. Afro-Latino would include black Brazilians, black Mexicans, Costa Ricans, Hondurans, Panamanians. So they are not considered to be black people in the U.S. Census. They're considered to be Hispanic. And there is a separate category for black non-Hispanic. So according to those numbers, the non-Hispanic black population in the United States as of July 27, 2024 was 41,288,572. And I still regard that to be a significant undercount. Now remember the number that I gave, 48 million 467,838 compared to the number they gave as of July 27. Of course, we're still growing since then, but not growing very fast. In the United States, the black non-Hispanic population grew by 0.6%. It's growing at an annual growth rate of 0.6%, while the non-Hispanic white population in the United States is shrinking. The non-Hispanic white population in the United States now has achieved the point of more deaths than births. Now that's a very significant point, crossing the Rubicon, one might say. This is the first time I believe that you've ever heard me say that that has now been reached, and I just discovered that today. I'm going to share the source of that here in just a second. Statistics, forecasts of spending. This is what why these demographics matter, because we're now going to project the demographics on a generalized forecast of spending. From Black Friday through Cyber Monday, the forecast for the nation is $75 billion, amounting to $650 per person. If we look at that's $75 billion over the course of a 4-day period, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, is $18.75 billion a day. National spending for Black Friday through Cyber Monday, $18.75 billion a day. The black portion of that, if we're talking about 14% portionality of the population, would be over the course of this weekend, the African American or black portion, non-Hispanic, is 10.5 billion of that. 10.5 of 75 billion, and that would put that proportionally at $2.625 billion a day for 4 days. 2.625 billion dollars a day between today, this morning, Friday, which actually be yesterday evening, Thursday, because the Black Friday's now into Black Thursday night, through Cyber Monday night. $2.625 billion a day. Now, to me, this is getting to the realm where this is shocking stuff. This is getting unnerving because there are so many other needs. Let me read this next article. New estimates highlight the differences in growth between the U.S. Hispanic and non-Hispanic populations. And here, before we get there, there was one other statistic I started to pull, and I just pulled just a few and then ran out of time and had to get prepared to launch the program. I was looking at the black population in the United States, starting to correct these numbers again since I did them earlier this year. And I do them about twice a year. Non-Hispanic blacks, according to the U.S. Census, as of July 2024, would number 41,288,572. My number, there was another number, another figure that put this at 42,313,088. That was from a that might be the numbers that have just been gained since then, at a 0.6% annual growth rate between July 27 and this year. Yeah, that sounds like that. And today, that sounds like the 42,313,088 might be pretty close to what it is today, according to the U.S. Census. I got to always put that in because it's been reported for decades that U.S. Census undercounts blacks in the United States by significant numbers. I'm talking pretty significant numbers, over 10% undercount. Now that's been reported. I have confirmed that more than once. Going forward, with the next article, and I'll share this reference with you so you can have access to it. This next article is entitled one second. This next article is entitled New Estimates Highlight Differences in Growth Between the U.S. Hispanic and Non-Hispanic Populations, from the U.S. Census Bureau, dated June 27, 2024. I earlier said July 27, but I should have said June 27. Let me correct myself. And I'm going to paste this article up for my Facebook family so you can see it as well. And paste this one more time where you have access to our references. And here's what the article has to say in part. Now, real quickly, boom, there's a reference, and here is the title. Okay. New estimates highlight differences. The slow growth. Listen. This is a very revealing paragraph. This is one of those paragraphs that gets slipped into a news release, but the overwhelming majority of people, the media, and the pundits, and the leaders of the community don't catch it. The slow growth within the total non-Hispanic population reflects a slight decline in the non-Hispanic white population. At 195 million people, the non-Hispanic white population had the largest share, 58%, of this nation's total population in 2023, even though it declined 0.2%, representing 461,612 people decline from the previous year, with nearly 630,000 more deaths than births. Natural decrease was the main contributor to the non-Hispanic white population decline. Let me repeat that sentence. This is the key sentence. With nearly 630,000 more deaths than births, natural decrease was the main contributor to the non-Hispanic white population decline. There it is. Let me put parentheses around that. So those of us who pay attention to these things can now have a point of reference. Now, this is not to slander or denigrate this group of people. This is just to point out that these trends are occurring, and we really need to be paying attention to this. So there is that excerpt. I put that excerpt up on the Rumble. I put it up on my YouTube. I see you, Ronan, in the house on my YouTube page. And he writes, let me get this. He says, Kitty, the difference between you and regular people is 3 months. I went to one Black Friday immigrants and pepper spray. Yep. He said, I'm not joking. Pepper spray. Xmas is too dangerous for some. And he writes, tariff threats next Xmas. Kitty, am I wrong? Yeah, tariff threats. When Donald Trump comes in, these trade wars, tariff wars, are going to be a major disruption to the global economy as the US dollar is being removed as the main basis for international trade and travel. In comes Donald Trump and his crew. He's got advisors, people advising him to do this stuff. They now want to push up 100% tariffs on Chinese EV imports. At the rate that Chinese are building higher quality electric vehicles than the Western powers, and the cost of those high quality EVs, I'm talking about a luxury US built electric vehicle, is going to cost you 80,000 to maybe 150,000 US dollars, while the Chinese are building that same car or higher quality, higher luxury value at between 20,000, 25,000 and 60,000. So it's going to get interesting. You're absolutely right, Brother Ronan. It's going to get interesting. Red Friday or Black Friday? I would say Red Friday. We're bleeding. That's blood. He said, kids want guns. If 20% won, who won? I'm not joking. Educated guess. I apologize, Kitty. And he's making a lot of comments here. Mic drop. And yeah, with nearly 630,000 more deaths than births, natural decrease was the main contributor to the non-Hispanic white population decline, to which he said, mic drop, Brother Keaty. Thank you, Brother Ronan. I appreciate, love you, and your real-time interaction with what we're talking about today. That does mean a lot to you, brother. We continue. I'm still in this article. Now we're talking about population. I'm going to repeat. With nearly 630,000 more deaths than births, natural decrease was the main contributor to the non-Hispanic white population decline. Conversely, the other non-Hispanic race groups experienced population growth in 2023. These groups include 2 or more races, that's mixed race, 2.4% growth, Asian, 2.3% growth, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, 1.7% growth, blacks, 0.6% growth, and American Indian and Alaska Native, 0.3% growth. In the hierarchy, mixed race is the largest growth sector of the U.S. population. No, that's not the largest. Hispanic, which I don't have in this particular paragraph, but the article was all about that. So let me find the article and give you that reference of the Hispanic growth. Bear with me. I do have it up here. We're talking about growth, population growth. Here is the article from the U.S. Census Department newsroom. New estimates highlight differences in growth between the U.S. Hispanic and non-Hispanic populations. Between 2022 and 23, the Hispanic population accounted for just under 71% of the overall growth of the United States, driven primarily by Hispanic births. According to newly released vintage 2023 population estimates from the U.S. Census Bureau, Hispanics of any race grew to just over 65 million, an increase of 1.16 million from the prior year. This growth significantly contributed to the nation's total population gain of 1.64 million in 2023. Hispanic population expanding substantially faster rate than the non-Hispanic population, primarily due to natural increase, that is, more births than deaths, said Christy Wilder, a demographer in the Census Bureau's Population Division. The annual increase of 1.8% was in sharp contrast to the 0.2% increase in the non-Hispanic population, whose growth was tempered by a decline among non-Hispanic non-Hispanic whites, the largest demographic within the non-Hispanic category, and the only one to experience a population loss. Brother Ronan, you say mic drop at that point? Yeah, one might say that. Let me push that paragraph because that paragraph was very important and leads right into the next paragraph that I excerpted. Just a little bit more from this article from the U.S. Census Department. While natural increase made the greatest contribution to Hispanic population growth between 2022 and 23, with approximately 722,000 more births than deaths. And again, with the whites, it was 650,000 more deaths than births. So the Hispanic population gained more than the white population lost. Whoa. And this takes me back to predictions from 1937, when demographers in the United States predicted that at current U.S. domestic birth rates, this is after the 1924 Immigration Act, National Immigration Act, which cut off free flow of European migrants into the U.S., that the future of the nation's ethnic tapestry would be determined by birth rates. At that time, they predicted that in a little bit over a century and 30 years, around a century and 30 years later, America would become a black majority population. Now, we can see very firmly blacks bit the bait, the baited hook of fertility decline, population control. Abortion was devastating to black people. It truly was. Abortion has been devastating. And now, to the non-black, non-white, Hispanic community goes the spoils of game theory insofar as demographics in the United States for the mid to latter 21st century. I'm going to start reading again. This article is very important. And I'm going to do this much. Let me print this whole article out. This is, don't go nowhere. This is from the U.S. Census Department. Let me copy. And then I'm going to right click on the page and print the whole page. I think I'm going to print the whole page. Sometimes this works real well. Sometimes you got to do a couple more tricks. And yeah, this gives me a PDF of the whole page. I'm going to save this to my hard drive. And I'm just going to put this in general documents, even though this could go into one of my upcoming books. I'm not going to paste it in that folder. Whew. Let's read this a little bit more from this article, if not a lot more. While natural, I'm going to reread this and then pick it up from there. While natural increase made the greatest contribution to Hispanic population growth between 2022 and 2023, with approximately 722,000 more births than deaths, international migration resulted in about 1/3 of the overall net gain in the Hispanic population, with just over 437,000 migrants coming into the country. So that's the basis, to some extent, of the MAGA madness. Now, the MAGA madness has portrayed much of this as criminality, as rapists, as thieves, people eating your cats and your dogs, and this other craziness that they imagine, which is worse in the U.S. population than it is in the migrant community population. Nonetheless, the browning of America, listen to that phrase, the browning of America is their greatest fear. Here we recall, revive, recognize, and give respect to the enduring spirit of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. The Cress theory of color confrontation comes in handy for those of us seeking to understand it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I always thought that Dr. Welsing's research was too limited, too constricted. That it was so much more about big brown balls and little white balls than it was about the dynamics of demographics. And that was why I was kind of hesitant. Plus, her book, The Crest Theory, the ISIS Papers was the name of the book, the Crest Theory of Color Confrontation. The book had some glaring mistakes in it, and I really wish she would have upgraded that book and removed some of these mistakes out, such as that white people were created when blacks threw albinos out of Africa. That was terrible research. It wasn't even close to being true. And the research of Cheikh Anta Diop had already proven Gloger's rule. Gloger's law, which is how a species, not just whites, not just people, but rabbits, foxes, bears, how a species that geographically isolates away from the equator, where the angle of the sun becomes diminished by its pushing through the atmosphere, so the ultraviolet B radiation hitting the ground is much less, and those species lose melanocyte production. Those things that make them dark-skinned. So other than that, the Crest theory of color confrontation does serve our understanding and comprehension of what is happening. I just hope we can go beyond that and understand this as game theory, demographic competition. Representing this growth, reflecting this growth, Hispanics of any race made up almost 1/5, 19.5% of the U.S. population in 2023, making it the second largest group after the non-Hispanic white population. But they did say Hispanics of any race, of which we have to work to determine how many of these Hispanics of any race are Afro-Latinos. That is not going to be easy. I've done that before. I need to upgrade those numbers. 2 studies that I cited, one was from Pew Charitable Research Study, and I don't have that date handy, but I've cited that numerous times. I have the citation in another paper. That one determined that 6% of adults in the United States that represented Spanish language, Spanish surname, so-called Hispanic, 6% of the adults were Afro-Latinos. I found a second study, which was from an Afro-Latino newspaper published in the Philadelphia area. I don't have that specific research right handy. Somebody in the background might want to look it up. But that, according to that Spanish language newspaper, Afro-Latinos made up 14% of the Hispanic population in the United States. 14%. I claim Afro-Latinos. Para mí, Afro-Latinos son un parte muy importante del mundial familia africano. What I said was, for me, Afro-Latinos represent a very important part of the global African family. Es porque es necesario para africanos en los Estados Unidos especialmente para hablar más que un lengua. El solo lengua es la lengua. La sola lengua es la lengua de los esclavos. The only language our people are speaking is the language of the enslavers. What's up with that? ¿Qué pasa contigo? Not with you. ¿Qué pasa consigo? What's up with that? We can do better than that. And I can speak better Spanish than that. I haven't spoken Spanish. I'm just realizing I've been isolated now for 5 months. I haven't spoken Spanish other than Wednesdays. I speak Spanish on my shopping day. But I need to get back into speaking Spanish much more often. I don't want to lose it. I think it's a very, very important global language for the future, especially when we consider the vast body of Afro-Latinos in Mexico, Afro-Latinos in los Estados Unidos, in Puerto Rico, Afro-Latinos in Cuba, República Dominica, Afro-Latinos in Costa Rica, Guatemala, Panama, Nicaragua, Colombia. Hay mucho Afro-Latinos en Colombia, más que 12,000. 12 million, not 12,000, but 12 million, and more than 12 million Afro-Latinos in Colombia, Afro-Latinos in Brazil, Uruguay, Peru. The research of Dr. Runoko Rashidi, praise be his eternal name, gave us a good understanding of the global distribution of African people on this planet. Praise be the eternal name of Runoko Rashidi, my friend, our dear brother. He was such an inspiration, such a great scholar. We miss you, dear brother. We continue to uphold your name, your great African name, your respect, and your research. Ashe, Ashe. As we move forward, let me go back to and begin to finish wrapping up. This article I've been reading from is so very important. Do get it from the U.S. Census Department Bureau News Release, Population Estimate Characteristics. They're talking about Hispanic population. 2 more paragraphs and I'm finished. Although the Hispanic population continued to grow, its yearly growth of 1.8% between 2022 and 2023 is slower than it was in previous decades. 2% between 2012 and 2013 and 3.7% between 2002 and 2003. However, the Hispanic population still grew faster than the nation's non-Hispanic population, which increased by 0.2%, just under 1/2 million, from 2.22 to from 2022 to 269.7 million in 2023. Now, I don't know what that just said. The Hispanic population grew faster than the nation's non-Hispanic population, which was everybody but them, which grew to 269.7 million in 2023. The non-Hispanic population's slower growth stemmed from natural decrease, where it experienced 217,000 more deaths than births from 2022 to 2023. Despite this natural decrease, the non-Hispanic population experienced some growth due to a net gain of more than 700,000 people through net international migration. So, listen, Trump MAGA people, and notice that population decline was pretty significant because of the pandemic declaration. A lot of people died. We're not going into the details of that today. We've done that many times before, and yes, that did get me banished. But we have to understand, migration contributes to the nation's demographic foundation. So if you don't have a plan to get young, non-Hispanic white people busy and get them into the maternity wards, then the nation is going to follow the pathway of Japan and China and Russia, and I think some 53 other countries now in the world whose populations are declining. Most of those 53 are declining because of migration especially across the Pacific region, Asia Pacific region, where the rising ocean levels are causing people to migrate out of the coastal cities. And when they're migrating out of the coastal cities where most populations are going to be concentrated, many of them migrating out of the country and into other parts of the world. So you better have a plan. Trust me, they do have plans, people. That's why they came up with this census category of Hispanic in 1980 census. The slow growth within the total non-Hispanic population reflects a slight decline in the non-Hispanic white population. At 195 million people, the non-Hispanic white population had the largest share, 58%, of the nation's total population in 2023, even though it slid 0.2% from the previous year. I read this earlier. I'll read it again. That slide of 461,612 people declined, slide, backtrack from the previous year, with nearly 630,000 more deaths than births. Natural decrease was the main contributor to the non-Hispanic white population decline. Conversely, the other non-Hispanic race groups experienced population growth in 2023. Two or more races grew by 2.4%. Asian grew by 2.3%. Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander grew by 1.7%. Black grew by 0.6%. And American Indian and Alaska Native grew by 0.3%. But that 0.6% and 0.3% is hovering right on the edge of starting to shrink, and it is representing an aging group. So I like that article. That was from the U.S. Census Department. I hope you got that reference. We're going to begin to wrap it up. I see you in the house. Phoniel Lewis in the house. Big Bigali is in the house. I see you in the house and I acknowledge you. The word is Sawubona. Sawubona. I see you in the house today. Enough respect. Let me get all the comments in. We're going to begin to wrap it up just a little bit. And the main theme for today is this holiday shopping madness is now upon us. Do I have any other comments? No more comments here from the you now, or from the Rumble family. And if you are on Rumble, can I get you to hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button? If you are on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. We're so very grateful to have you in the house, have you as part of the family. Brother Ronan's talking to us. He says, that's a forecast, meaning surveillance bias? Yes. Thank you for bringing that terminology back into my mind, surveillance bias. When we talk about many of these surveys, surveillance bias is a word that always comes into question. When we talk about these epidemic projections, surveillance bias comes into it. Thank you, Brother Ronan. You got a good memory. We talked a lot about surveillance bias in the background. He said, electric vehicles drastically reduce your range of motion, store, and back. That's true, but for most people, electric vehicles represent their normal range of motion, and it's less expensive and less destructive to the environment to recharge those vehicles for that. But yeah, you're right. No more, or not no more, but much less driving, say from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, if you have to stop in the middle of that and recharge for an hour. But it is the future. It can be no denying that it is the future. To deny that it is the future is almost like denying that the globe, the planet is warming up. Whatever the source, the planet is warming up. Kitty, the black race is getting farmed, and that's not fair. That's all we had at the Tome, I think at the time. Francis Cress Welsing is a major clue. Yes, so very true. Great show, Katie. Thank you, Brother Ronan. It's made even greater because of your enthusiastic, knowledgeable input. Queen Mother Kashiba says to everyone, hit the like button. And I thank you, Queen Mother Kashiba, for being in the house. Let's start to think about what do we do? What can we do that's better? There's a semi-conscious or unconscious consumer madness that we get trapped into. There was another report, someone had mentioned Futurama. Let me see if I can push this one up for our listening audience. I'm going to take this one down, stop that screen, and I'm going to present another screen. I've never seen this, Futurama, and it was just the first one that came up showing robot Santa Claus. So, Brother Ronan, I'm going to take your advice. We're going to show Futurama robot Santa, and let me unmute the audio. Double check that it's up there. It's on the stage. And this is just, how long is this? This is just 3 minutes and 15 seconds long. Let's just share this for a minute. Tell me what you think about what you are seeing here.
Oh boy, it's Santa!
Ho, ho, ho. You're both naughty for disregarding each other's feelings. What about your other co-workers? Did either of you ever stop to think about Dr. Zoidberg's feelings?
No, I swear!
Santa has something very special in his sack for you two.
Please let us live. We'll put out milk and cookies for you.
You dare bribe Santa?
Hey, look. We're under the mistletoe.
A mistletoe is no match for my toe missile.
I didn't do nothing. You're thinking of the kid.
My God, Bender, framing an orphan. That's so naughty, I'll have to add it to my list right now. Framing. You've all been very naughty indeed. Except you, Dr. Zoidberg. This is for you.
A pogo stick. Come on, everybody. If you don't believe in him, he can't hurt you. Oh, God, the pain. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
He's gonna blow!
Let's see who's been naughty and who's been naughty. I saw that!
You're programmed to destroy the naughty. I submit to you that you are naughty, and that logically you must destroy yourself. Yay!
Nice try, but my head was built with paradox-absorbing crumple zones. Ho, ho!
I can deliver them. Billions and billions in one night.
All right. That was interesting. That was interesting, and there's more to it. And there were more than one video of Futurama Santa Claus. Looked like he acted like Satan Claus, didn't he? And thank you for that suggestion, Brother Ronan. That brought a smile to my face. And I think it fits the general category that this holiday shopping madness is synthetic. It's synthesized. It's a mind control program. And it's designed, even though that program hinted at some of the sinister reasonings, justifications for this idea of Santa Claus, it's designed to trick the population into wanton consumerism. And that the chief beneficiaries of this wanton consumerism are the moneyed class. And they do this. It's a way of taxing the consumers, taxing the families, taxing the population, getting us all hyped up in this craziness and this madness, investing our critical investment money, not in competing for the future, not investing in emerging economies, not investing in those things that strengthen the foundation for small and medium-sized enterprises to thrive, since SMEs are the chief employers of people in the United States, UK, and other countries. That this is all designed to concentrate more and more wealth in the hands of fewer and fewer corporations. That's my hypothesis. So I resist. People are going to be spending today. And Basu Randa checked in. That cartoon was awesome. Let me put up a link to that Futurama robot Santa Claus so you can have access to it. Here is the name. And do share this. Share this across your social media. If you, like myself and Sister Rhonda, say that that video was pretty good, and thank you, Brother Ronan, for suggesting it, please do share this with others. And let me just do this. Futurama Santa. Copy, cut, and paste that, and there you have access to that one as well. Brother Ronan, he says, great show. It is a great show today. I'm not quite done yet because I want to put something on the table that I consider to be a practical solution for what we can do with what the Creator has blessed us with as individuals. But better yet, what we can do as a collective. We got to design escape patterns. And I think I have designed an escape pattern that might be the best one I've ever done. Basu Randa, Brother Ronan 4, Africa 1, Queen Mother Kashiba. You know I like to teach these classes. And I have this upcoming class. It starts, today's Friday. It starts officially on Sunday, December 1st. It is a 56-day program. 56 days is 2 lunar cycles, 28 days. And in 2 lunar cycles, we aim to create a powerful paradigm shift that we can use as a motivating vehicle to pull our bodies out of this holiday shopping madness matrix, and to pull our bodies out of the health care madness matrix. Because these same corporations that are plundering our families with the holiday shopping madness are also plundering our families, and the main cause of family bankruptcy are hospital expenses, medical health care expenses. We had earlier talked about the population rise and decline, and we talked about this period in the United States between 2021 and 2023, actually 2020 and 2023, mainly 2020, 21, and 22, where we saw life expectancy in the United States and other countries, a few other countries, decline. Life expectancy declined in the United States, but among African Americans, Black, Hispanic, and non-Hispanic, the life expectancy declined even more because we were dying at the highest rate of any identifiable group in the world during the height of that pandemic. Dying. Removing our bodies from a matrix that's claiming victory of the way it handled that crisis. Removing our bodies from that matrix should seem logically a very high imperative. Logically, should seem to be a high priority. But it may not be a high priority because of the way we have been raised. So we're going to do better than that. We are. We are going to do better than that to the very best of our abilities. You are listening to us here today live on LIB Radio, LIBT and livinginblack.com. What I do want to do is pull you in to what I have created, what I believe to be a great solution. I'm going to go back, and you've been hearing me talk about this for 2 weeks now. I'm not going to let up on this, because I really do think that this 56-day stem cell rejuvenation protocol is it. This is it. This is a wonderful solution. Holistic stem cell therapy, natural proliferation and activation. So going forward, we talked about the costs of being in the sickness maintenance, and especially this area of stem cell therapy is the cutting edge of Western medicine. This is the cutting edge. Now they're talking about CRISPR, gene editing, and these are the things, but stem cell therapy is huge bubble of this frontier. And even within stem cell research are these other ones are showing up, like CRISPR, gene editing, and other types of things. When we look at anti-aging medicine, stem cell therapy is undeniably a bulk of that leading edge. What I prove, I've already proven that in these broadcasts, is that your body does this stem cell activation, proliferation, differentiation, and rejuvenation. Your body does it. You don't believe me? Scrape and get a scrape. You say you're roller skating or ride your bicycle, you fall on the pavement, it shaves off a top layer of your skin, exposing white meat below it, and it starts to bleed through that. You see the blood starting to come through the capillaries on the surface. You clean it up, you keep it clean, you dress it so that it breathes and is clean, is not getting infected because of contaminants. And guess what happens over the course of 2 to 3 or 4 days? It scabs over. After it scabs over, from beneath that scab, it starts regenerating tissue. This not just happens in our skin, it happens in our joints, it happens in our tendons, it happens in our bones, it happens in the heart, in the lungs, it happens in the pancreas, the liver, the kidneys, all of the reproductive organs. The endothelial lining of the uterus, and the fastest growing cells in the body are the lining of the stomach, who get replaced about every 4 days. This happens naturally. It does not require 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, 127,000, $2.1 million worth of medical intervention through stem cell therapy. Does not require that. In the overwhelming majority of cases, this is taking place 300 million new cells in my body every minute. Over the course of 56 days, that amounts to 24 trillion new cells my body will create over the course of 56 days. What we aim to do is to guide this process, and to use this to help the body achieve its holistic balance. Here's what we're going to do. Bear with me as I describe this. The stem cell rejuvenation course with Coach Keaty begins December 1st, 2 days from now, 2024. This program encompasses a 56-day guided regimen. The course includes 3 books, and if you're going to join the course, join as soon as possible so I can get these books shipped to you. The books include Living Superfood Life, Living Superfood Longevity, and Living Superfood Recipes Volume 2. you will learn key principles of what is called regenerative biology. It's also referred to as bioregeneration, but more accurately, it would be regenerative biology. We will detoxify the body and the environment, because one of the things, we've already shown this in the research, I'm going to prove it to you, is that one of the biggest detriments to the integrity of our stem cell rejuvenation natural process is the presence of all these heavy metals. Yesterday, many of you, our listening audience, attended a feast where a significant amount of your food was cooked in, served in, or served out of aluminium if you ate that meal in UK or in British language countries. Heavy metal toxins, I'm just real quickly, because that one I didn't specifically go to and look for the connection specifically between aluminum, and heavy metals. But I'm going to show you that it does exist. Now bear with me, something else is up. Oh, that's unnecessary. I'm going to go to one of the 4 AI search engines I use when I'm doing this base research. And I'm looking for specifically, is there a connection between stem cell activation and, capital A-N-D, heavy metal toxicity, especially aluminum, A-L-L-U-M-I-N-I-U-M, aluminium. That's the question I'm putting on the table. Copy that question, because I'm going to ask this of other search engines when I'm off the air. I'm going to go into Brave browser. And if you're not already familiar with the Brave browser, please do familiarize yourself. It's actually superior to Google. And here's what it responded to. Now we're talking about what you ate yesterday and going to be eating leftovers stored in aluminum foil for however long they last, until they start to smell so bad you finally stop eating that stuff, until the turkey turns green and smells. I've been there, done that. I'm not accusing you of anything that I didn't do when I was a heathen. I'm no longer a heathen, and you don't have to be a heathen at all. Eating turkey doesn't make you a heathen, but it did make me a heathen. Here's what the return. Here's the question. Is there a connection between stem cell activation and heavy metal toxicity, especially aluminium? Based upon the provided research, there is limited direct evidence specifically linking stem cell activation to heavy metal toxicity, particularly aluminium. Some studies suggest potential connections. Point 1, the mechanisms of heavy metal toxicity. Heavy metals, including aluminum, can induce oxidative stress, inflammation, and cellular damage by interacting with biomolecules such as proteins, lipids, and DNA. This can lead to disruptions in cellular processes, including stem cell function. Point 2, stem cell response to heavy metal exposures. Some studies have investigated the effects of heavy metals on stem cell behavior, but primarily focused on specific cell types such as hematopoietic stem cells, HSCs, or mesenchymal stem cells, MSCs. For example, point 1, aluminium exposure has been shown to affect hematopoietic stem cell self-renewal and differentiation in mice. Point 2, mercury exposure has been linked to altered mesenchymal stem cell proliferation, differentiation, and migration in vitro. And point 3, lead exposure has been reported to influence hematopoietic stem cells, quiescence, and mobilization in mice. Now, I'm going to stop reading right here because you literally, it just opened up another chapter of the book. What I am going to do is copy this whole section, copy this, and I'm going to paste this into a blank document over here in my notepad from which I read. And I'm going to save this particular notepad paper because this is a chapter. This literally is a chapter of the book. So copy and save that. I'm going to save this in the same folder as the upcoming book, 56 Day. The folder is called 56 Day Stem Cell. Actually, the book is called The Stem Cell Revolution. And I'm excited about the book. Some of you saw the cover for the first time. I posted it up on my Facebook page. And I think it's going to be quite exciting. But it's a lot of work. And this particular one that I just shared is probably a chapter in the book, Stem Cells and Aluminum Toxicity. Sorry about that, but I keep slipping into my UK vernacular. Let's keep a stiff upper lip. On that note, I'm going to go back to the invitation. I really do want you to know. You're going to learn key principles of regenerative biology, detoxify the body and environment, hence the heavy metals. Focused approach on epigenetic processes and functional medicine. Those are our areas of control over the environment, which produces the health outcome that sustains our longevity and disease resistance. Dietary guides for optimizing stem cell function. Natural means of activating two types of stem cells, meaning bone marrow derived mesenchymal stem cells and adipose tissue stem cells. You will get access to a proprietary formula for a daily rejuvenation smoothie. Point supplementation that builds natural holistic stem cell development. This includes a guided 3-day water fast jumpstart. Now, for many people, I'm going to do the jumpstart twice. I'm going to do the jumpstart at the beginning to get my body jump started into this program, because the 3-day water fast jumpstarts, we're going to show you this is where this is where your stem cells activate in 3 days. It's water only. You have to go into this starvation mode to switch on your DNA's natural preservation processes. So it's also going to include a weekly Zoom webinar. The first Zoom webinar, I'm going to have a preview on Saturday. That would be tomorrow. I'm going to do a preview. If you want to get the preview, text me, or you can email me to get the preview, to tomorrow's Zoom, and that is November 30, 2024. Text 702-580-0662 or email Keedy@chefkeedy.com. Now let me make sure I got all that right. Yes. So I do want you to join the preview. Many of you are already on my mailing list, and I'm going to be sending out this mailing today and tomorrow for this free preview. It's going to be Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's 1 p.m. Eastern time, noon Central time, and that is 6 p.m. GMT, and that would be 10 a.m. would be 9 p.m. East Africa time. So join the preview. Let me share that preview link on every place we're broadcasting right now. I'll share it for our Rumble family. Basu Rhonda, I see you in the house. Please do, Basu Rhonda, if you're going to be free, because I know your schedule's so busy. Queen Mother Kashiba for Africa One, please do join your brother tomorrow so we can have this continued conference and we can look each other eye to eye. It is through the I and I, as my Ital family would say, it is through the I and I that we understand and can completely enjoy Ubuntu. I am because we are, the I and I. Same concept. Ubuntu comes from Southern Africa. I and I comes from Jamaica. Both of them meet in the Africans in the UK and the US and Canada and across the diaspora. We are one global people. This is not to diminish or excuse or put down other groups. It is to restore our leadership in the family of humanity. When Africans led the world through great empires of Kemet, Nubia, Kush, Zimbabwe, great empires that spanned the Sadek region of Southern Africa, great empires such as Mali, Songhai. There was no talk about nuclear war annihilation happening next week. We got to get back to the throne, the imperial throne, the world leadership, and dignify this planet for the next 500 to 2,500 years. That's on us, people. I take it personally. So this is why I create these programs, these classes. So lastly, let me finish describing the class. I get off on these tangents because I'm just happy. I'm just happy. Plus, I think I've used up by 91 minutes now, so I'm going to begin to wrap it up. Time. What time is it now? Please repeat the time. That's going to be 10 a.m. a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is noon Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 6 p.m. GMT is the Zoom conference. And I actually have the link to the Zoom conference right now. Let me pull that up in case you want to get access to that right now. Here is the Zoom conference is going to be taking place. And that is Saturday, November 30th. There's that. And here is the link. And I hope, I pray, and I pray, and I pray, and I pray, and I pray. I pray for all of you. I pray for all of us. Because we're in this love together. I pray that we do participate together. So here is the meeting. I'm going to present the meeting and the invitation. I'm just going to present just the link to the invitation. Join the meeting. This is Saturday. Don't join it right now. Some people will see it as soon as they see it, they'll join. Probably just to test out that the link works. And that's not a bad thing. Join the meeting Saturday, November 30th. And that's how we're going to do what we do when we do what we do when we're doing in the sunshine, because everybody loves the sunshine. As Roy Ayers, the illustrious Virgo, would say, everybody loves the sunshine. So I'm pushing that link up. Here's where it is. And we got it in. Now, there is a cost to this course. The cost is not $2,501. It is not $5,000. It's not $10,000, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, $127,000. It is not $2.1 million to take this 56-day course. The cost of this course is less than $300 if you pay it in a single payment. If you pay it in two payments, just add another $20. That's 2 monthly payments. If you are like Queen Mother Kashiba and others who in the background support me all the time for decades, just contact me. Send me an email. I know who you are. You're always showing up. Send me an email, and I promise you, you will be able to set your own contribution price. 2 people who support me like that have already signed up for the course, and I said, here's what the course costs for everyone, but you are special. You tell me how much you want to pay for it. Because it's just too important for us to only allow the profit motive, the pay one price or don't participate. It's too important for us to make that judgment. That's Urugu Asili. That's the foreigner's value system, not our own. We did not lead by demanding that every family, no matter what their capacity, has to pay us so much or you get left out. That is not our value system. I know Queen Mother Kashiba, I know that you agree with what I'm saying. And to everyone else out there listening, I know that you agree because you are, I am, because we are. So let's transform ourselves as individuals so that we can transform ourselves as a global family. This idea of spending all of this money, $650 per American this weekend, beginning today through Monday, spend all of that money, including much of that being spent on credit cards for a holiday that really doesn't mean anything. You know something? We can do better than that. Yes, we can. We can do better than that. So on that note, I'm going to have to say thank you all for tuning in today. You've been tuned into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIV Radio, LIV TV, and livinginblack.com. I wish you all peace, prosperity. Many of you have traveled to be with family this weekend. And I hope that you are getting the greatest joy possible of being with family, of being with those loved ones who every time you're around them, they remind you that yes, this is unconditional love. Because unconditional love that's what babies are for. One of the babies are, of course, to keep all of the seats in the theater full. Babies are, for so many great reasons, a critical part of all of our being. But they also remind us of unconditional love. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned in life was that meaning of unconditional love. And that's why you tune into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIV Radio. We are LIV TV. We are livinginblack.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.